Thank you, sir. My name is Stephen Ott. I live at 130 Jericho Lane in Fayetteville, Georgia. I'm here with Mr. Brett Vincent and Attorney Jack Overman. Just very briefly to sort of give you the history of that. Mr. Vincent purchased this property and had a single-family dwelling on it. That house burned to the ground, and Mr. Vincent has been left with a lot. When he sought to relocate, in fact, another single-family house onto this lot, he learned he could not do that because the zoning was AR, and it would not. It is less than 2 acres. He wouldn't be able to do that. So that is when that point that we were involved. Mr. Overman is here to explain any sort of details you want to know about the title of the property, about the title search, as he conducted that for me. What we then found out was that part of this property is already zoned R20. And so what we are asking the commission to consider tonight, and appreciate your time in doing so, is to rezone the entire 1.87 acres to R20 so that Mr. Vincent can simply replace the single family house that was destroyed. The condition that has been asked is for a right-of-way for future improvements to the road, and Mr. Vincent's certainly in agreement. And in fact, if the county wants to prepare those deeds, then that would be great. If you want us to do it, we'll do it. However you would like to accomplish that, there's not a problem at all. But again, we're not asking, it's not a large piece of property, it's 1.87 acres to put one single family house, with the part of the property being most close to the road being the zoned R20 already at this moment. If you have, I don't want to belabor the point, but if you have any questions, I'm here. Mr. Over, Mr. Vincent can answer those.
Why part of it was R20 and the other way? Why they ended up?
I don't know that. If you have, and I'm not sure what you have in your packet, there is a sort of an aerial view, and when one side of Morgan Road is all R20, and this looks at, I don't know why part of it was R20, part of it wasn't. I think it was a land lot that was. More than likely that Mr. Overman is thought is that it was the land lot lines rather than the road that was used as the marker for the R20 and A. Mr. Vincent isn't interested in doing anything other than just replacing the house he thought he had when he bought this piece of property.
You have a lot of house parcels down there like this.
Yes, sir.
It was done years ago.
One of the things that we looked at was if we had a deed conveying this property prior to 1980, then I don't think we would be here. But as we started, and that's why I had made sure and asked Mr. Overman to be here, was to explain how you end up with this piece of property without a warranty deed. What we do have is a security deed, which does obviously convey an interest as well. But the county attorney's office was of the opinion it did not, and so we are here asking for a rezoning instead.
It says that the house existed on the property since 1976 until April 2nd.
Absolutely. On 2 acres, on 1.87 acres. Same size, basically.
Yes, basically.
3.
What size would that be?
1,500 square feet.
Is this a rental home or is this your home?
It's
Let me ask you one other question, Stephen. If it's going to be a 1,500 square foot home, would there be an objection to an R40 zoning instead of the R20? Let me tell you what parameters are on that. That's a 1,500 square foot home on 2 acres. The R20 is a 1,200 square foot home on 2 acres. And in my thought process is this: it's up against AR property. I'm simply trying to think of a way to buffer so we don't have a bunch of R20 requests that come out of this request. That if we had an R40 there, then in the future, when somebody comes and wants to rezone this AR, we actually wouldn't be rezoning for a bunch of other rental homes.
1,500 is consistent with what was approximately consistent with what was there before and what is in the surrounding area. So that's the thinking there. The 1,500 square foot home on a 2 acre property seems to make sense as opposed to a 1,200 square foot home on a 2 acre property.
I don't suppose that we would have that objection to R40. That just requires more square feet. I think it was looking at across the street and these little, I don't know the materials you were provided, across Morgan are other R20 lots. So that I suppose was the reason.
R40 is 1,500 square feet.
You know it, I mean, is that the size?
I'm not an expert on the zoning and.
No, is that the size of the house?
Oh, yeah,
Your Honor?
1,500 square feet.
R40 requires at least 1,500 square, 1,500 square foot house.
Right,
Same size you say you're going to.
okay, right, then that would make sense.
Just to clarify, you said 2 acres, that's 1 acre zoning district, R40, and the 1,500 square foot has always been, that is heated square footage,
Correct.
just for clarification.
But to Stephen's point, the reason, I think the thinking here was that, just to be consistent with the portion of the property is already R20, seemed to make sense to just make the rest of it R20.
Well, the problem is I look at, Stephen, you're wondering what we've got, it's probably the same thing we've got.
I do have, yes, sir, it is.
And I look at it, the north part is apparently all 20 north of the road, but south of it is all AR. And essentially what we're looking at today, if we rezone this, if we agree to the R20, it's going to be part of the property in the future with this board on why the adjacent property should be R20. And so to put a buffer of R40 is just something my point.
It's not, from our point of view, Mr. Commissioner, it is not a problem. It would not be a problem. We were matching across this side of the road. There's several other R20 lots, but
Yeah, there's not a difference on the size of the lot. I understand that's just the size of the house.
it's
Once
really
I
not.
understand the question now, it makes sense, I see what you're saying.
It's certainly not, from our point of view, an issue.
Just point of clarification, my understanding is that this property was created in foreclosure, and that the deed secured debt foreclosure created that small parcel. Is that not true?
No, sir. If you would like some more detail on that, Mr. Overman can best answer your.
Mr. Chairman, what happened in this property, the house was built in 1976. Approximately in 1980 or 81, the owner of the 12 acres that it was built on built the house in the corner and dedicated 2 acres in a deed to secure debt to build the house. That deed to secure debt was paid off, and subsequent to that, the house and 2 acres was sold. It happened to be the same dimension as the deed to secure debt because they had a legal description on it in 1999, which created the situation that if the house hadn't burned down, it would still be there today. Nobody would know anything about it. But when the house burned down and the request was made for a building permit, that's when the staff found out that it actually had 2 acres around it. So, but it did come from foreclosure sale, you're correct, but it had nothing to do with the original deed to secure debt, which was a conveyance before 1980, which our interpretation, of course, was different from the county attorney that said that he could build a house again. This was the easiest way to come back before this body and ask for rezoning to exhaust all administrative remedies that he could possibly have, because basically he's got an acre and 8/10 right now he can't do anything with at all.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that would wish to speak in favor of this rezoning petition?
I'd be happy to make the motion that we rezone to R40 with the stipulation that Mr. Rod and Mr. Overman prepare the deed be transferred.
With one condition.
With the condition that would include that with the deeds available.
Second. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay. I will disclose at this point that Mr. Vincent is a campaign contributor to my campaign. His contribution was more than $100 minimum, less than $500, which precludes me from voting. He is also a client of my accounting firm, therefore I will abstain from the vote.
Okay, and I think I previously identified that Ms. Rod, my former law partner, our partnership was all 10 years ago. Of course, we sit on the same bench over there in Peachtree City as judges. And Ms. Rod also contributed to my campaign, but he's not the petitioner, he's simply the representative. So I'm not going to disqualify myself.
Any other comments? Confessions. True confessions, yes.